Boulevard, online at steeredstraightthriftstore.org.
This segment has been sponsored by the local Edward Jones office of Lee Colvin. The host of this show and Edward Jones have an existing business relationship. This event is not a testimonial of the services provided by Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. MTE's charitable foundation, Sharing Change, is funded by members who round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar each month as a donation and support hundreds of nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org. Edward Jones, financial advisor Lee Colvin, joins us here on this Tuesday morning, and we're going to be talking about, are you afraid of outliving your money? But Lee, we bid you a great morning.
Good morning, Brian. Are you trying to outrun the week to hold on to the money a few days longer?
I guess whatever we can do to make it go longer. You know, that's the whole point.
Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna skip days.
Well,
skip days.
You know, what's a Tuesday? You know, it's just the day before Wednesday. Well,
absolutely.
I guess that is something that you start thinking about. You know, once you hit our age, especially, maybe. You know, the question: do you worry about running out of money during your retirement years? How can we prevent something like that?
Question and concern. Yeah, you know, and if this is something that is causing fright for you, if so, you know, how can you help prevent this from happening? You know, one thing I'll tell you, Brian, is let me say in the first place, if you have this type of fear in mind, then you're far from alone. Know that this is a very common concern and understand that 58% of retirement savers from all age groups, including current retirees, say that outliving their assets is their greatest retirement fear. And this is actually according to a study by Cerulli Associates, which is a financial services research organization. So it's a very common concern, worry, and this is why we're talking about it, right? Bring it to light and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you to plan and not worry about in the future.
Well, Lee, talking about this particular kind of fear can, you know, if 58% of retirement savers are thinking about it, including those current retirees, I'm sure that it affects your quality of life when you retire. So, I guess we're going to try to put brakes on this just a little bit, you know, get your finger off of the panic button here, because you're going to share some tips. Looks like about 6 tips here about that. So what would be your first tip on not worrying so much about that?
Absolutely. One, Brian, we want folks to know that we want you to know how much you'll need during retirement, right? So if we're sitting down, we're working with you, we're planning you reaching retirement and living through retirement, one of the main issues that we're going to talk about is knowing how much you'll need in retirement or during retirement. And, you know, you need to get a clear picture on this, or at least a good estimate of knowing how much you'll need to support your retirement lifestyle. Once you do retire, some costs, such as transportation or other work-related expenses, they might actually go down, while others, like medical expenses in particular, will likely go up. But fearing, you know, the idea of fearing running out of money, like many fears, it is caused largely by what you don't know.
Right.
So having a good plan, having a good sense of how much you'll need in retirement can really help reduce that future or that current anxiety.
We're talking with Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin about just answering the question, are you afraid of running or outliving your money? And the first, I guess, area that we considered here, knowing how much you'll need during retirement. Let me just kind of give you the areas that we're going to touch on here. Building financial resources before retirement, maximizing your Social Security payments, re-entering the workforce, cutting costs during retirement, and looking for more income from your investment. So, Lee, let's talk secondly here about building financial resources before retirement. That's something that you and I have discussed on this show pretty frequently.
Certainly, Brian. And, you're probably at your peak earning capacity in the years where you're close to your retirement. So if you're in that part of your life, what we're going to ask is consider contributing as much as you can afford to your IRA, your individual retirement account, to your 401k, or to other employer-sponsored retirement plans, just saving for the future.
Good points there, obviously. And, I happen to feel like maybe it's the time when the kids are out of the house and, maybe it's just you and your spouse and, you're not paying for basketball camps, but that's just thinking out loud. What about maximizing those Social Security payments?
Brian, so important. And, folks, you can start collecting Social Security as early as age 62. But your monthly benefits will be larger if you can afford to wait until your full retirement age between 66 and 67. And you can actually even max out your payments if you wait to age 70. So just understand that you can still get pay increases or more lifetime income waiting a little bit longer versus taking a little bit earlier.
All right, let's take a look at our fourth tip here, if you will, our fourth thing to consider, and re-entering the workforce, going back to work. That doesn't mean it has to be full-time. It doesn't, there are a lot of things to consider there, I would think.
Well, going back to work in some capacity is one way to possibly help build retirement resources and possibly delay taking Social Security. If you have a particular area of expertise and you enjoy the work that you did, you might be able to go back to it on a part-time basis or do some consulting. You could boost your cash flow and potentially extend your contributions to an IRA and to an employer's retirement plan, possibly.
Well, you mentioned cutting costs during retirement, so I'm interested to see what you're thinking about here. Could that be maybe, like downsizing in some area? That's just kind of the word that popped into my mind. Is that kind of what you're talking about here?
So popular, Brian. Cost cutting and downsizing, such a popular idea for folks. And if you're willing and able to move to a less expensive area of town or part of the country, maybe scale down your current living space, this is an emotional decision as well as a financial one. And downsizing isn't for everybody, but it might be something to at least consider. Mm-hmm. As for the lesser ways of reducing expenses, try to take advantage of senior discounts, which are offered in many areas, including entertainment, public transportation, restaurants, retail establishments, and look for other opportunities such as cutting out streaming services that you may not be currently using.
Very good tips. I mean, you and I probably can get the senior coffee at McDonald's right now, so, that helps.
It's coming sooner than we'd like.
Finally here, look for more income from your investments. Let's end on this note and talk to me about what you're thinking there.
So as we're getting closer to retirement, and even when we do retire, you might want to adjust your investment portfolio to provide you with more income-producing opportunities. However, even as a retiree, you will want some growth potential in your investments to help keep you ahead of inflation. So be aware of that. And Brian, ultimately, the more you can bolster your financial security before and during retirement, the less fear that you may have to outlive your money.
Sure. Very good points here. And some of the things that you talked about in this, looking for more income from your investments, knowing how much you'll need during retirement. These are some questions that you really need to get with a financial advisor about. And for folks listening, Lee, that may not have a financial advisor, trying to do some things on their own, haven't talked to theirs in a long, long time, don't even know what number to call, whatever the case may be, I'm sure that you or any of the Edward Jones financial advisors here in Rutherford County would love to talk to you.
Certainly, Brian. And remember, things you and I talk about all the time on here is bringing your whole financial team together, right? Bringing we as Edward Jones in to be your investment and financial experts, bringing in your tax or CPA expert, bringing in your estate planning attorney expert. We want to work and help you, and doing that sometimes can bring everybody together and do more planning, again, preparing for that retirement so that you're not so anxious. And in doing that, we would love to hear from you. If you're somebody who's getting closer to that, maybe you have not had that meeting, you're not sure who to talk to, feel free to give us a call. You can reach out to us at 615-907-7056. Again, that's 615-907-7056. That is my office. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, ask a few questions, and then, make sure to refer you to the right financial advisor locally who can help you best for your personal needs.
Very good. Lee, thank you so much, and we'll catch up here with you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds great, Brian. Thank you so much.
You bet. That is financial advisor, Edward Jones financial advisor, Lee Colvin, joining us today.
Don't just make a change.